Hi everyone, Kate here. As you may know, I'm from Minnesota, and I have been watching and hearing about everything that's happening there with a ton of fear, but also a ton of pride in the people of my home state. My sister, my brother-in-law, and nephews are right in the middle of all this, and I cannot express to you how tense and scary things are right now. My younger nephew actually broke down crying the other day when we were on FaceTime because a black car went by outside their house, and he was so scared. So yeah, that's the vibe. I'm recording this the day after the huge protests took place there, and I literally just saw a new video of yet another person being shot and killed by ICE. So to combat the helplessness that I'm feeling, I am taking out the section of housekeeping in this episode where I usually ask you to give to our Patreon, and I am instead asking you to give to the ACLU, the People's Bail Fund of Minnesota, who are helping bail people out after the protests, and the Legal Rights Center in Minnesota, who are also helping to support protesters. You can also give to any other organization you know of that's combating what's happening. Just if you have money to spare, please just give to something worthy. I will drop links to the three organizations I just mentioned in the show notes. If you're listening to this from Minnesota right now, please know that I love you. I'm so proud of you. Larkin also shares my sentiments. She was just out marching in Seattle in solidarity. So thank you for being there on the front lines. And I'm so sorry that this is happening to you. While I'm on, I suppose I can also issue a quick content warning for this episode. It does contain a discussion of suicide, so just be prepared for that. All right, well, with that, let's escape into the world of cosplay. Just kidding, you know it's never a true escape with us. Enjoy!
You're having a good time on the couch with your friends. You're having a good time in the bed alone. You're having a good time watching TV. Let us ruin your day. Yay!
Welcome to Now It's Ruined, the podcast for people who hate enjoying things. I'm Kate Bridal / stereotypical Barbie.
And I'm Larkin Harrington / Wednesday Addams.
We are dressed in our cosplay finest today to welcome our guest, Alia Pyatt, who you might know on social media as Magical Black Girl Alia. We are so excited.
Woo!
Alia is a cosplayer and content creator. She has been in the business for 12 years and has become known for her fantasy content, fashion facts with Alia, and her role as Cinnabon in the fast food house, which I need to hear more about. Alia, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited.
Yay, thank you for having me, and I am SpongeBob.
Yes, Alia is here as the most adorable version of SpongeBob you could possibly imagine. If you want a video version of the podcast, by the way, we're on YouTube. We also we put our video versions on Spotify. This last week, I really dropped the ball and I didn't do it for like a week, but I do always do it eventually. Patreon is the other place that you can go to see us on video so you can see all of us in our costumes. Something else that I just wanted to address. So I discovered the other day that for some reason there were a bunch of ad breaks inserted into our older episodes. And we did not choose to do that. There were like 4 ad breaks of 5 ads each, which was not what we wanted or selected. So I went back and I fixed it. So there should only be a maximum of 1 break in the middle of episodes now. So if you were experiencing that, I'm so sorry. It was never our intention to spam you, and we don't know how it happened. We're looking into it. Also, if you recommended us to someone and they were like, there are so many ads, please tell them we fixed it. We would so much rather have less ad revenue than make you skip a million ads every time. Finally, as ever, please go follow us on YouTube, Instagram, rate, review us. Wherever you're listening right now, just go to the rate show option. Give us some stars and feel free to leave a review to tell us why you gave us the number of stars that you did. That will help us spread and get seen by more people. And, maybe we can do live shows or something one of these days. We got ideas, so go do that. All right. With that, I do want to get to Alia, and we're going to start things off by hearing who she would like to fight in a Denny's parking lot in hell.
Yes!
I love this. Okay, I made up a list. I have a list
Fantastic.
of people I would like to fight. Number 1, I would like to fight Richard Nixon for obvious reasons. I feel like all the issues we have today are because of that man, and I just want to fight him for it.
Great choice. Nixon hasn't been on the list yet.
He should be on everyone's list.
He should be on
Beautiful.
everyone's list.
For sure. Just take turns. Just
Yeah.
punching.
Yeah. We're doing that with a few people. Columbus is going to get a series
Yes.
of punches.
Number 2, I would fight Emma Watson for her Beauty and the Beast live action gown redesign. It's so ugly.
Wait,
Why
was she
did
responsible?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess she had a hand in designing it, and then she said she didn't want to wear a corset because she didn't want young girls to be like, oh, tiny waist, but it's just an ugly dress.
And she has a tiny waist anyway. She can't help that.
Exactly.
I will say I have met Emma Watson and she's really nice.
Right? I was like, I'm sure I probably won't really fight her, but for that one reason,
Yeah.
every time I watch the
One-
live action, which is so good, I'm like, "Ugh, that gown, it should have been beautiful, and it's just like so plain and simple and ugly, and I'm mad at her for that.
And she's going to get beat up for it.
10-year-old decision. I'm fighting her for it. Awful. Well, number 3 makes more sense, though. The orange man in Office.
Oh, yeah.
I want to fight him because I'm tired of looking at his face.
I'm
Yeah.
so sick of it.
Tired of it. I think we're officially a year in now, so I guess
We are. Yeah, we just hit it.
Feels like 10.
right. And there's 3 more.
I know. I was
So,
like, it's kind of a relief and kind of depressing at the same time. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we made it through one, but we didn't all for one.
Yeah, fighting Donald Trump for sure. And then number 4 is personal. I'm fighting the man I met on a dating app who told me he valued communication and then ghosted me after 3 dates.
You know what? I will be right behind you. I will be right behind you. You can be like, hold me back. We'll do the whole act, and then I'll let you just wallop him.
Exactly. Doesn't make sense. What happened
Values
to the communication?
What happened, man?
Just tell me you don't want to hang out anymore, man. Like, I can take
Exactly.
it.
And I would have been like, cool,
Rude.
nice time. Like, what do you mean? It makes me angry. It was like last year too, and I still think about it.
Legitimate.
And that's my list.
Hell yeah.
So good. So good. That was amazing. Well done. All right. Well, now, Aaliyah, I will just hand things off to you and let you ruin cosplay. And as ever, as we know, we are not telling you not to do cosplay. Obviously, we are all in cosplay. It is Aaliyah's job, but we're going to give you some rough stuff to think about while you do.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm here to talk about cosplay and my own experiences, and not too much like the history of it, but like a little bit how it's like changed over the years. Not fully for the better, a little bit for the better, but okay. I guess to start off. Sorry, I'm like,
That's the
okay.
feeling of being a guest on this podcast. You just summed
Yep.
it up. Just
Okay, so if you don't know, cosplay, it's basically the combination of the word costume and play. It's been around for a really long time. I feel like a lot of people are more discovering it recently. It sort of had a big boom during the pandemic. Cosplayers are really dominating TikTok at the time, and so it sort of blew up the hobby for a lot of people. But it's actually been around since the 1970s in Japan. I love finding old like vintage cosplay pictures because it's just like, oh, it's like, here's my grandma in her Star Trek cosplay, and like,
That's
what do
so
you mean?
cool.
Oh.
Of course, back then everyone made it all by hand. Lots of hobbyists, people of all ages, men, women, everyone. When like I looked into old, like what old cosplay pictures I could find from back then, a lot of them were from like, you know, classic animes, like in the 90s, Sailor Moon. You can find a lot of old pictures of Sailor Moon cosplayers, but
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot from the Star Trek fandom. They were like really out there, like making the uniforms and the whole face prosthetics, and like that fandom, I feel like they sort of have held it down for nerd culture, like since
yeah.
the beginning. Shout out to the Trekkies.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely a Star Wars fan myself, but you know what? We don't need gang violence.
We don't
can
have to
all
get
along.
into infighting.
We're all nerds here. A little
That's
weird.
right.
Kate's Star Wars.
I'm both.
Yeah, you're both. You're the bridge. Because
Yeah.
I'm Trekkie.
Yes, I am the bridge.
The bridge
Bringing
between.
the people together.
Yes. If we were in person, I would have one of you on either side of me and we would hold hands.
Okay, so I like to refer to pre 20 like 16, 17 cosplay as the Dark Ages. Like, I don't know, a little bit of the Dark Ages, but also the Golden Ages. On one hand, it was, I feel like cosplay, the community was more of a community because it was smaller. It wasn't like small, but like, for example, on the Black cosplay side of things, like I could go to a convention, every Black cosplayer I saw, I knew them because there weren't that many of us. So it would be like, oh, hey, or you'd see each other and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know you. Who are you? Let's exchange information. So the community, I feel like, was a lot smaller. It was more craft focused, I think. So it was like, tell me how you made this, random stranger. Like, what is this? This is amazing. Like, can I follow you on Instagram? Or Tumblr or like wherever we were at the time. And compared to now, since there is so much of a boom, you go to a convention, I feel like 50% of people or more are in cosplay, which one, I really like because it's like we can all do it now. It's not like a gate-kept hobby. It's not something you have to be super skilled to do. Like you can find a cosplay, buy the cosplay, put it on, and boom, you're a cosplayer. But it is sort of sad because it's like, I don't know any of you people anymore. Like,
Right.
I do miss that part of being like, yes, I recognize you from Tumblr, or we've talked before, we're mutuals. But then the past is also the Dark Age. So on the Dark Age side of things, back in the day when I started cosplaying 2013, 14. It sort of blurs on what I consider my first cosplay because it fell apart before I made it in the building. So I don't know if that counts. So then I moved my start date to 2014.
Wait, what was it? I gotta know.
Yeah,
what was the cosplay?
It was Bumblebee from Teen Titans.
Oh,
And
nice.
I had just learned how to sew freshman year of college because I was a fashion major. And I was like, I can make a garment from scratch. No, I couldn't. For some reason, I could not find a simple black and yellow striped t-shirt, which you think would be easy. Like, it's a standard pattern. I couldn't. So I was like, I'm going to make it from scratch. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I just like cut a bunch of strips. And then I sewed that together and then made something that sort of resembled a shirt. And then I had never made wings before. And I decided I was going to make wings from scratch out of wire and cellophane and a hairdryer. Could not figure out how to attach it to my body. And it was sort of flopping through a hole I put in the shirt. No supports or anything. It just stuck in there. And by the time I like got to the car from the house, it just fully ripped the whole back.
Oh no.
And so it's like, I don't know if that counts.
It does. It does.
Yeah,
It was your first
There's
attempt.
no photographic evidence of it. No one ever. There's no evidence at all.
That's fair.
But
But that's inspiring. You can start there and then come to be where you are now. Now you get paid to do it. Come on.
exactly.
See? Great.
You never
Great
know when
origin
you can
story.
start. But it was the Dark Ages. There weren't very many resources. There was, I think, cosplay.com, which was full of like basically a bunch of threads where people could be like, this is how I made this, so you can make it, or how do I do this? And people could answer, but there wasn't like too many resources on it. Yeah, not a lot of tutorials. People had barely started maybe posting YouTube tutorials. But even just like sourcing items like wigs, it was Party City wigs for the most part, very cheap plastic. There's like so many the old text is what I like to call it, of like threads where it's like, learn from what we did. Here's a thread from 2007 where this cosplayer, instead of using body paint, dyed their skin with Sharpie. And it's
Jesus.
just horrible things. People just hot gluing items straight to their skin. Like,
Ooh.
awful. And I feel like now it's just like, wow, that was really the Dark Ages. People were just straight inhaling fumes and burning their own hair off. And I don't know, now people stress the importance of wearing goggles and like masks when you're working with chemicals and gloves, and maybe not working inside your bedroom with all the doors and windows closed while you're heating up plastic. I keep hearing of all these awful stories of things people did, like the girl that dyed her skin with Sharpie, and it's just like, where is she now? Is she okay? Like,
Yeah, you okay?
I never heard a story of like, oh, she got cancer or something, or like
Well, that's
was
good.
admitted to the hospital. So I think it was just like little stupid mistakes that now you would not do. I think about just different things that I did for, I was making armor for the first time. I like found all these forums from like the Mandalorian mercs, and they're like, this is how you do it and blah, blah, blah. And so I made it out of square foot sheets of PVC that you could buy only from like places that made signs. So I had to hunt those down, like find a signage store somewhere and buy like 10 sheets of it. And then you cut it out with a rotary tool. I wore no mask, just fiberglass flying everywhere from friggin' hot plastic. Just cut it out in my college like apartment where I shared it with 4 other women. That was awful. And then you're supposed to heat it. You can either like use a heat gun, which I didn't have at the time, or you can just put it in the oven and like once it gets hot, you just curve it to whatever shape you need, like wear gloves. Or they're like, oh, you put it on a dress form and like it'll tape the shape and then you're good. I didn't have a dress form. So I put on 5 t-shirts and then I put on oven mitts and I laid on the floor and I just put it on my chest. And the 5 shirts wasn't enough. So it was sort of like a, oh God, just like a slight burn as it cooled to the shape of my chest. So, things we wouldn't do anymore. We did in the Dark Ages. It worked.
I mean,
and I made 2 sets of armor that way, so I repeated it. I have a dress form now, so I don't have to do that ever again. Also, now 3D printing exists, so you can just get it printed directly to your shape, which is amazing. Like, there's so many resources now.
But I'm sure that's expensive, right?
It is. It's 3D printer is expensive, but luckily I think more people have them, so you can like find someone. So nowadays, you have resources, you have tutorials, but even better, it's easier to purchase cosplays. Back then it was more of like you had to find another cosplayer to commission them. They are making it by hand. It's very still craft centered, but it can be really expensive because you're paying a human like hourly to make it for like in their home, usually a little home sewer. So you're paying them a living wage. So it's good that it's expensive because you should be paying like $300 for a ball gown or more. Like, yeah. But now I think one downside I do see, cosplays now become fast fashion. So you can go to, say, the number one company for it is I think it's Mick Costumes. Everyone says it differently. Some say Mike, some say Miko. And they have thousands and thousands of cosplays, maybe averaging around $70. Some of them are like $30. I don't know how they have them that cheap. And people are doing this. They're wearing it to a con and then never wearing it again. And it's fully becoming fast fashion. There's so much benefit in these companies. I use them like often. I work with them often. But because it is becoming fast fashion, that it's like, okay, let's be more intentional about what we're picking from these companies. Wearing it more than once is okay. You don't have to just wear it, throw it away, never see the light of day, or wear it, make content with it, and then be like, well, that's done, and throw it away.
That's wasteful too. It's
so wasteful. And between those and content creation and cosplay joining together, because people are like, okay, this new game is out, I've got to make the content first. I bought this cosplay, or I made this cosplay from scratch. I did all the content with it, but I don't really care about the game at all. So like now it's just going to go in the trash, or it's going to sit in my closet for 4 years and then go in the trash. It's just become like a crazy beast. And so like the love isn't really there as much as it was anymore for a lot of people. And I just find that really sad because it was such a slow crafted hobby. I used to make maybe 5 cosplays max an entire year, and now I'm like churning out multiple a month, and after a while you get burnt out, and it's really sad.
Burn out on something you love too, which is a bummer. I didn't even think about that. Like the commoditization and like the speed with which you have to do it if you're going to be an influencer or do it professionally. I did buy this stereotypical Barbie dress from a seller on Etsy, and it was like, I don't remember how much, I think 170. And I was like, you know what? It's my first time at San Diego Comic-Con. It's my first time cosplaying. I have the money. I'm just going to do it. And they're going to do it to my measurements. Like, I want something cute. And I've worn it many times. And I didn't even do it. It was like, I was late. It was like the summer after Barbie had come out, like not the summer that it came out. So I was like still late to the party, and still had little kids running up to me and getting really excited. And it was like so sweet and so fun. And then I wore it for Halloween, and like kids in my neighborhood were really excited. And now I'm wearing it again. It's also super comfy, and it has pockets. So
oh my God, it has pockets.
I'm like, oh, deep pockets. Wait, hold on. I got to show you. You'll appreciate this. They're like serious pockets.
That was like the first thing she told me. She was like, it's really cute, but guess what?
It has pockets.
Functional. It's so rare for cosplay to have pockets. You're always like, where do I put my items?
Where do I put this? Yeah.
They're just like, don't. You're like, what do you
don't? You don't. Yeah, you won't.
You bring a person to carry those things.
Exactly.
Sorry.
That is your person.
You have someone for that. Yeah, that's a sad side effect because it does. I mean, so Larkin and I, our first Halloween together, we were hand making her a Harley Quinn costume and me a Silk Spectre costume from Watchmen. We didn't know how to sew.
I don't know how we. I mean, I knew how to sew, but I didn't.
I mean, yeah, I knew like a little how to hand sew. We didn't have a sewing machine. We just went on. We didn't know how to make patterns. We just
Full
vibed.
body suits too. Like we were way
Yeah,
super
advanced.
committed.
I mean, mine was. Well, it was far less clothing than yours because yours was a full, and mine was just like the little dress, but it was like draped very specifically. And I don't
know how we did that.
I don't even either.
It's like
Going
how
off
we
the
all grew up with MySpace and we're like doing code, and now we're like, how did I do that?
Exactly.
And now my new iPhone update confuses me. What-
Exactly.
I'm not my true hacker self anymore. I'm so sad.
Exactly.
I actually never learned how to code for MySpace. I just picked my favorite song and my top 8 or whatever and let it be. Let it ride.
Dude, I had widgets. I had things that moved. I had
my God.
What?
I wasn't. Yeah, I was literally because you could just learn it online how to do it. Anyway, I was gonna ask Aaliyah, is that like part of it? The feeling of like almost a time lost for you because you grew up doing it and you were from a like. I feel a time that was part of the booming like up and coming cosplaying that like because it was so handmade focused and like you guys literally went through the ringer of putting hot plastic on your chest that like you're kind of like, well, I went through it and these kids are coming in with money and just buying it and they didn't go through any of that. And is there a feeling of like, well, that was our tight-knit group of people that did that and now it's different.
I do feel that like it's like a mixture of like wanting to go back because of the community and how like it brought everyone together, but then also like trying to rein in like me being like the old man, like get off my
Right.
lawn. Like
Yeah, you don't want to
these
gatekeep.
kids,
Yeah.
they don't understand what we had to do. Like it's sort of like a I don't know, like acknowledge it. Like I wish the up and coming cosplayers would maybe just respect what we had to go through because now
For
you
sure.
definitely have a lot of like really younger cosplayers going in. Like, why are people cosplaying over the age of 30? And you're just like, oh, whoa, sit down, child. Like,
Sit down.
Like, oh, so that's definitely hard. I keep seeing more movements, like especially on threads of people like, hey, cosplayers over like 35 sound off or something. Like, look at us. We're out here. We're doing it. Like, do you think people just shrivel up and die at the age
Right.
of 29? Like,
No, they get thrown into the hag pit.
I've scrambled up from the depths of the hag pit to cosplay as Barbie today at 39 years old.
Good for you. And you should keep
I love
doing it.
I'm going to. That is interesting. Kind of, I feel like with anything, there's that dynamic, right? There are going to be the people who are going to be like, you should have to suffer like I did. And you want to be like, no, grandpa, like people should be able to use the tools that are available for them. And, the world is improving. And then one of those young people they're complaining about say something like that. And you're like, maybe you should have to burn your tits off for some Mandalorian armor. I forgive the younger people a little more because I'm like, you'll learn, you'll grow. I was an asshole at 20. Everybody is.
Yeah.
Exactly. On even darker side of cosplay, I think it's easy for people who get into cosplay to sort of be like, yes, this is a little nerd hobby. It's escapism and nothing should go wrong. It should be so separate from the world. But unfortunately, nothing can be separate from the world. So even with this crazy little hobby of cosplay, you still have just as much sexism. You still have a lot of racism, unfortunately, which is wild. Just the gatekeeping, all the isms that can exist still exist within this little hobby. I wanted to see if I could find like a peer-reviewed article on it or just something that's like, fully academic, because I'm like, okay, this has been happening for a while now. Someone has to have done something academic related to cosplay, and I found someone's like collegiate essay. It's called The Social Phenomenon Surrounding Black Cosplay, The Unseen Toll of Racial Battle Fatigue. And it's by Ashley Borjon, I think is her name. I like that one a lot because it talks about both what Black cosplayers have to go to as well as what female cosplayers go through, because like there's so many levels to it. Like there you've got your standard American typical white male who's doing great things, and in the cosplay world he's also doing great things. But then when you talk to the women in cosplays, they're having a great time, but they're having a significantly less great time. And then when you
right.
break it even down further to the black women in cosplay, they're having an even worse time. And just like sort of seeing that in a peer-reviewed article where someone like did research and has all her facts and her statistics lined out is really validating to like compare it to what I've experienced. Like for the most part, my experience in cosplay has been like super positive. That's why I've been doing it so long. Or
Right.
you know, I would have stopped if it wasn't positive. But like I still experience a lot. One, being a black cosplayer, people are really weird about like skin color accuracy, which
Yeah,
for
and
one,
that's-
it's hard because if I only cosplayed black characters, I'd have like 10 well-known characters I could cosplay
Right.
total.
Right.
That's real boring. I don't want to stick to just every version of Storm or something or Black
Right.
Panther. Especially once you get to the anime side, it's like, okay, come on now. Like, who am I gonna cosplay? There's like 2 people, and are they racist caricatures? Maybe. So like that's really hard.
Right.
And
Well,
people get really weird about like the accuracy with it, which is insane to me, especially in the anime side, because most of those characters are Japanese. But like if you see like a white girl cosplay Sailor Moon, no one's gonna be like inaccurate. This
Right.
is wrong. You're gonna be like, yeah, that looks just like the character. And
Right.
so
Let's
it's
cast
just-
Scarlett Johansson and
Right,
Ghost in the Shell.
exactly.
Yeah, like
yeah.
and there was
Exactly.
uproar over that, but like didn't they still do it?
That was a fun time on the internet.
But also, there are freaking green creatures and people and
It's not
purple
real.
people.
Right.
It's leave
It's
it
a
alone.
fantasy.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, please continue. It
that's-
makes me
that's
so
exactly
furious.
right,
It's the
same.
stupidest shit.
Yeah, it's just sanctioned. It's just a way for people to sanction their own bigotry. They're like, well, I can couch it as it's not accurate. And it's like, what? Why do you care? Why do you care about certain? I mean, like, and obviously they love to throw back like, oh, well, but if I showed up in blackface and you're like, that's different, friendo.
Different. Right.
It's a little bit different. There's some history there that perhaps you should look into. And there are some reasons why that's not acceptable.
Yeah, that's exactly what I say all the time if someone is ever in my comments talking about accuracy, whether skin color or body size, because a lot of those like characters are this, this big.
Right.
But it's just like, it's not real. I'm dressed up as a cartoon character. What do you mean? Like, they take it so seriously when at the end of the day, we're spending our money to dress up like a cartoon character.
Yeah, and how does it affect your life?
Exactly.
What
And
real part of your life is affected by this? Like, why does it
nothing
matter to you?
at all? Especially when they're like, oh, thanks for ruining my favorite character. And it's like, they still exist. You could still go log
can go
on to
watch
Netflix.
it.
Right.
You can go ahead and not follow my account and never pay attention to me again. Ugh, God, I hate people. Anyway.
It's so annoying. I think it's like wild when people comment hate on like your content, because how do they not realize that when they comment on it, the algorithm wants to show them more of it, and so they're just like shooting themselves in the foot. So it's just like, I don't know, it makes me so angry. And like it sort of has helped me realizing that whenever I do get hate content or hate comments, because I sort of play with them now. I might comment like, oh, thanks for being a fan or something, or
I
like,
love that.
you're
Yes.
boosting my content. And then they come back because they're angry. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
like, what do you mean fan? I hate this. And I'm like, 2 comments? Like, oh my God, you are just really loving my content. And we just keep doing the back and forth until they block me. And it's so much fun.
Oh my God, I love that.
doing it.
I wish I had the balls to do that. I'm still very small, like content wise. And it's also mostly Hannibal centered, and the Hannibal community is actually extremely kind because it's not a lot of straight men. So it's a great community. Sometimes people still get a little bit like, he wouldn't like a woman. And I'm like, canonically, he would and does, but okay. But like at first, did it really get to you? Like, did it kind of sit with you and live with you?
Oh, definitely. I think, yeah, my first like time getting hate comments, it was on one end, it was like, okay, cool. Like I finally made it. I've got my first
Right.
hate content
Sure,
or comment.
yeah.
But it was still just like, especially if you got a bunch in a row, or like, especially if you have one thing go viral, then all of a sudden the comments go from like, wow, cool, awesome, amazing, to just hate. And it's just like, I don't want to keep seeing people telling me that like I'm fat or I'm ugly or I did a terrible job or I ruined their favorite character. And like, there's definitely been some points where a video starts taking off and it's like, time to not like turn off all notifications, mute everything, because it even after building up years of like, you know, thickening my skin so it doesn't bother me, it still gets to you. And
Of course.
I don't know, it's not good for mental health at all. And there's been so many cosplayers I've seen over the years that have had to like take mental health breaks or fully turn off their comments or just quit the hobby altogether, which is I think it's really sad that, you know, they were ran out of this hobby. Like it's happened a lot. So many people like of all like there's been cosplayers like 50,000 followers or more just stop because they're like, you guys drove me to quit. Like I hate myself. This is awful. And I don't know. It's really bad. And I think it sort of reached a peak this past November. There was a cosplayer by their username was SquidKid1111, SquidKid1111. She actually passed this past November. She died by suicide because of the bullying she was getting for being a Black cosplayer. It sort of like tore the community in two because it was like, how are we in 2025 still being so like, first of all, bullying in 2025 embarrassing. Why are you a bully in 2025?
Yeah, that's very embarrassing for you.
Right. Like, are you kidding me? But like, how is it still happening that we've gotten to this point that someone no longer wants to live because of she was dressing like a cartoon character? Like, it's not that serious for people to be yelling like that. And like, it was just like an awful time. And it's sort of like, I feel like it was a weird catalyst that sort of drove the whole Black cosplay community into like just a hellhole for like 3 weeks. Because like for one, people were like mourning the situation and like, hey, we've been telling you for years this is happening. And like I've made a video talking about racism in the community and people are commenting, no, that doesn't happen. It's like,
are you alive on the planet?
Right.
Like,
do you read ever? Okay, so you get people denying it, which is crazy because it takes one Google just to see like all these things come up. That's wild that people still deny it, but it also like it was weird. It was a weird like jumping off point in the Black cosplay community because then you had one person, like for example, might talk about the subject of Squid Kid's death and then make it about them, and then people are attacking them, and then someone else over here is going to be like, well, that's funny that they're saying not to bully people when they bullied me, and then it's just like, oh my god. And so like it was a weird time. It on one hand brought people together again because it was like, we've got to stick together, cosplays for everyone, we're all a bunch of little nerds. But then it also just became like a point fingers at everyone and anyone who may have been a little bit problematic in quotes or not. I don't know, people were making things up. It was a weird time. And it's just like, we're supposed to just be escaping the real world by being nerds. And the real world just sort of sneaks its way into any hobby. And so it was like that wake up call. Like, okay, we still have to deal with everything, but maybe we can like stick together a little bit and not have to deal with everything.
Yeah, it's crazy for that reaction to be, and I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all in this age of the internet. I feel like it happens all the time among everybody, among like women. And I do think, you know, like the explosion of just having so much community being online, that's a symptom of it, is that everyone just feels very emboldened to say whatever they want and to throw things out. They can say anything to you anytime they want to, right? So they can tell you the first thought that pops into their head. And oftentimes when we are upset or like feeling big feelings, the first thing in your head is not the healthiest thing. You maybe don't even mean it, but you can say it anytime. And I think that does not serve us well as a community a lot of the time. I mean, I'm curious, like how did it affect you? How'd you process that?
I think it was definitely hard because like you want to think that the community is progressing and isn't as bad as it used to be. I guess it sort of parallels just, you know, where the country is as a whole. Like you think like we've gotten so much further than this. Why are we back in 1962? Like it was very upsetting to see that like it had gone that far. One, that it was like still happening on that scale. The extreme level of empathy that someone was hurting so much from a hobby that like usually people start, you know, to escape the craziness of the world, and then that caused so much pain that she didn't want to be here anymore. And so it was a lot, and just seeing like the community as a whole go through it and how everyone responded. For I think a whole month after that situation, it was just like, I might take a break from cosplay myself a little bit, or at least I saw a lot of people that are just like, yeah, I'm not in the community. I'm a cosplayer, but I'm not a cosplayer. Like, people were really just distancing themselves. I've been seeing that, I feel like, a lot over the past few years, especially in the anime community, because anime fans can get a little weird.
Dude.
So people are just like, I'm not in the anime community. I like anime, but don't ask me to do anything.
Yeah, you're right. I've had it happen the past couple of years too. Like, you're sitting with a new group of people and you kind of all cut your eyes at each other if somebody says something about anime, and you're like, do I tell them that I watch anime? Because it's either going to go really weird or really bad, or one of you is going to be a real weeb and scare the crap out of everybody else, and or just be really gatekeepy about it and be like, oh, you watch Attack on Titan? What up? Like, start throwing
You're
up,
such a
you know,
basic
like,
person. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like, that's so obnoxious. They're obnoxious. Anyway, continue.
What is that in us that makes us be like, I love this thing. No one else is allowed to love it the way that I do. Right? Like, no one gets it. No one, or like, if someone likes something else, I have to tell them that that's not a good thing to like. Because I have done that. I probably still do it once in a while. I really try not to, but like, I've definitely been like, oh, you like that, like, musical artist? Like, ugh, like, it's just so blah, 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 blah. And it's like, why does it matter to you that someone gets joy out of something? It doesn't take anything away from you, unless it's someone who's like hugely problematic and there's like a good reason. If it's just you don't like their music, shut the fuck up. Like, who cares? Who cares if you think it's dumb or it's bad? Like, if people enjoy it and it brings them joy, we're all just trying to get through the damn day, you know?
Exactly. I feel that I've definitely done that too sometimes with artists. And
Oh, yeah.
like, I don't know, I feel like it's just like human nature to sort of like want to be the cool kid and find any way you can to make yourself more of the cool kid. And I don't know, I sort of think of like back in the day hipster memes of like oh, I discovered this first, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, oh, you like them, oh, basic, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just, it seems like no matter what you're into, it's just that human nature starts creeping back in, and it's just like no, I'm better than you because of this reason. Recognizing it is good, so that you can sort of like unlearn it, because it's like we're taught it. I don't even know where we're taught it or how we're taught it, if it's just picked up from each other. But I don't know, I feel like we're all sort of ingrained to think that way, even like in the nerd community with like the gatekeeping of like how anime has blown up, and like you have all those like all the hurt men coming out, like, oh, back in middle school, all the girls would make fun of me because I liked anime, and now the girls like anime, and that's not right. And it's just like, therapy.
Go to therapy.
Therapy.
Because it's just like,
Seriously.
I don't know, for me, when I personally, like, if I like this little like underknown show or artist or something, and then all of a sudden like people like them, I'm like, excellent, more fans. Now when I mention this, people don't look at me like, what's that? They're just like, oh yes, I also enjoy, and it makes me happy. I think everyone has to sort of retrain their minds to get there, instead of being like, no, my secret thing is gone. I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird phenomenon.
And also, like, dude, you know that it's not the same girls, right, who made fun of you. Like, those girls maybe still don't like anime and think it's dumb, but they shouldn't have made fun of you for something you liked. Again, just what we're saying. But like, are the women you hating the women you actually went to middle school with, or are you just projecting it onto every woman ever? My first boyfriend in high school loved anime, and I still had sex with him, so
Exactly.
it's not universal. He was my dungeon master. He's who I learned to play D&D from. Sleeping with the dungeon master is a clutch move, I gotta say. You get extra chances.
The biggest bag of holding that does not exist.
Oh my gosh. And I always think like, you'd think these guys would be like more excited that more women are getting into these nerdy things, because then it's like, cool, now
you have something to talk
the hot
about.
girl, also wants to watch my favorite show with me, or like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's a win-win, sir. What do you mean? It's weird behavior.
But then they're being also weird to them, and so they don't want to watch the show with them. They're like, yeah, I like it, but I don't want to watch it with you, because I feel like I might get murdered.
Scaring the
hose. Yeah.
Gotta be chill about it.
That's right.
Calm it down.
There's so much to the like female intuition that we all have to learn very, very early in our lives of this guy's safe, this guy's dangerous. And sometimes it betrays us, and men we think are safe or dangerous, which is why you cannot be offended when a woman is leery of you, even if you are a safe guy. Just like, white women, we can't be offended when, black women don't just immediately be like, oh, I know I can trust you, because they've been betrayed by that like so many times. It's like you can't just expect this level of trust from someone when your group of people as a whole have done all sorts of bullshit to them. Trust has to be earned on an individual basis, because we've all had that experience where you're like, that guy, damn it, I really thought that he was not going to be the biggest asshole in the world, and it turns out he is. That sucks.
Exactly. Oh, I realize I haven't talked about like the sexism side of cosplay.
Oh, let's get into it.
Let's talk about that part.
Let's go.
Like,
we can also talk more about your experiences with racism as well. We can always come back to it. But
yeah.
yes, we should.
I got lots of examples of both. So
great.
Unfortunately, being a woman in cosplay is weird, because on one hand, like, people are more likely to follow a female cosplayer because there's the sexism side against men. The one time it's against men where they're like, male cosplayers are weird. So like, I don't know. So that's the one thing the men have going against them. But you have a lot of sexism towards women in cosplay. One, the men think they're being fake fans and just cosplaying for clout. And like, oh, you're wearing that cosplay. Do you even know who that character is? Or did you put it on to go to a convention and try to find a boyfriend?
Right. You just want it to look cute. You just want it to look hot.
You're just like, oh, because they're in a skimpy outfit, so you're going to dress up as that. And one, I think that's a crazy accusation, because no one's trying to talk to the men at conventions. They're weird. Most of them are weird. Most of the women at conventions are weird. We're all weird.
We're weird.
We're just there to be weird together. Yeah, it goes back into the gatekeeping. I have had like instances of people coming up to me in cosplay and doing the typical man thing of like, oh, name all their superpowers, or like, oh my god, like, who's your favorite character? Wrong. Like, what? Like, oh my god, sir. Like, you asked me for a picture. What?
Yeah, you came up to me.
Right? I was just standing here with my friend trying to buy a freaking bumper sticker with an anime character on it. Something I've noticed, like, when talking with my other friends that do cosplay full time, especially out here in LA, if you go to like an event and they're like, oh, like, what do you do? Or whatever, and you say, oh, I'm a cosplayer, almost every single person immediately goes, OnlyFans. And so there's like this assumption that if you're a woman and you do cosplay, or you say you do cosplay, then like, yes, you make money doing OnlyFans. And yes, there is a lot of overlap between cosplay and OnlyFans. There are a lot of women who do make their money that way, and more power to them. But it's just like, I don't know, they look at you funny because they immediately like put you in that sex worker box and look down on you, which sucks, because it's like, a job is a job. It becomes a weird bundle of sexism and just nerd discrimination, anti-sex work, all combined into one. I've had friends that have stopped introducing themselves as cosplayers at events for that reason. It's weird, like, how there's all of that, and how in cosplay competition, because that's a whole nother issue. Every single year at one of the big cons, an announcement will come out of everyone that won the cosplay competition. You'll see, videos of everyone and be like, wow, look at this guy and his cool, like, huge armor. Here's the winner. And it'll be like a woman in her fully hand-sewn garment, and people are like, well, why did she win? Like, this guy looks a lot better. And it's like, well, if you talk to the judges, which the judges always have to come out and defend themselves, they're like, look at this woman's garment close up, look at the detail. She spent 500 hours hand embroidering an entire scene on the inside of the garment. This guy's giant armor looks really cool, but he sort of just slapped it together with a bunch of hot glue. And so people come out and they're like, oh, it's the sexism, and it's always going to be like a woman sewer that wins, and the men will never have a chance even though theirs is better. And it's just like, you're not there judging the contest. You don't see the build books that show the hours that they've put in and how they drafted a new way to sew, a new sewing technique. Right. People think that all the female cosplayers are doing OnlyFans or only like popular because they're showing their bodies, which for one, who is drawing these characters and putting them in the skimpy outfits?
I was just thinking that when you were talking about it earlier. I was like, and whose fault is it that most of the options for women in these like superhero things or whatever, animes, whatever, are tiny skirts and bodysuits that like show your fucking vulva. Like what?
Exactly.
Like, who was drawing that? Oh my God.
So annoying.
And then get mad at you for wearing it.
Exactly.
Right, because they want to fuck you and you know that they know that you won't. And
exactly.
think that the most insulting thing they can say to you is that they don't want to, which it's like, I didn't want to anyway. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And you know all those people who are shaming, who is like, oh, you're just on OnlyFans, whatever, is on those OnlyFans pages all the time, whacking off relentlessly. And it's like, again, like you said, if somebody chooses to do that and do the overlap, like good for them. I don't know if you know Reisuka. She is like Dino Mommy. She does a lot of anime and she is very like sexy and she's openly on OnlyFans. She's also a paleontologist.
Okay, yes, I do follow her. Okay.
Yeah, she's rad. So I know her from WonderCon. I was talking to her about her experience on OnlyFans and stuff, and she was like, sometimes I'm the only woman they're talking to. And I have to be the one to be like, well, you know that narrative about women is like not right? Or like, here's how I feel. And she, you know, like makes a difference. I was like, wow, I'm sorry that's, you know, that shouldn't be on you. That's not on you.
Yeah.
But like, it really inspires me to hear that she's doing that. Also, at the same time, I think it's really kind of beautiful in a way. Because where else are they going to get it from? You know, they're not going to listen to, if they're in the comments section being angry, they're already angry.
Wow. It's doing God's work. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's the men drawing the women in like these really tiny outfits or tight outfits. And then like if someone were to alter it to make it less tiny or less tight, then it would be, well, not accurate. So, yeah, it's one of those hobbies you can never truly win, which is unfortunate that it's the hobby that so many of us have chosen.
Because
no
it's
winning.
fun. I love being Barbie. I want to cosplay more. When did you start going like, oh, hey, I might be able to do this for a living?
So I realized that there were a few people making a living off of it, maybe around like 2018 or so. I had made it a goal of mine just to make the hobby pay for itself because it's an expensive hobby, and never intended it to be a full-time thing. Around the pandemic, around lockdown is when like I got my first like paid deal. It wasn't a lot. It was like $75.
Hey.
So I was like,
Hey.
that covered my cosplay for the month. And I was like, cool, excellent, great. And then once the world opened back up again, I started getting invited to events and stuff. And I luckily had a job that was really flexible, but like I was calling off more and more. And I was like, okay, let me move it back to part-time. And then like different platforms started paying us, like TikTok would start paying us for views. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I think I can actually sustain myself with this full time. It didn't last long. It lasted maybe like a year of me doing it full time, and then I think the actor strike happened, and then nothing ever recovered. It's been 2 years since then of me being like, I need a regular job, but everything sucks, and so I've been like applying to jobs for 2 years because like I'm still like able to pay my bills, but I'm like working 24/7 to get to this point, and it's like I think I would rather go back to just a regular 9-to-5 with benefits and doing this on the weekends. I think at the end of last year, I officially reached my point where I was like, I'm so tired of doing this. My job is phone. I'm always on phone. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to put on a wig today. And it's been weird and it's sort of sad because, like, I feel like I took off too late, but like it has been cool because I have been able to do like really cool things and like go to movie premieres. But I think my time here is done. Like I'll still be like a hobby cosplayer at least.
Yeah.
But like I'm tired of doing it full time. Like unless something were to happen where all of a sudden I were making a bunch of money, then I'll stay. But
Yeah.
like,
If you have any way to pay Alia for cosplay, please reach out. What does it even look like to be a like you're getting booked for events? Are you like, how do you make money at it? I mean, obviously there's social media. If you're big enough and you have posts going viral all the time, you can get some money off of that. But for other stuff, like what do you do?
yeah, I feel like I like to always joke that I have like 8 jobs. But like, so yeah, there's the social media side where you can get paid for like views. But yeah, I think most of it has come from, I have done events where I'm hired to show up like in character and cosplay and just be sort of like a human prop and like hang out. I have a bunch of princess party friends, and so every now and then they're like, I need a Tiana, and I'm like, yes.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I'll
There.
go do that. Still in negotiations for this, but I might be playing Queen Charlotte at an event soon. So that'll be
Sick.
fun. I had to work on my British accent.
Oh my God, yes.
Hell
But
yeah.
just like little things like that. Other than that, most of my money has come from brand deals. I don't get a lot to post on my own page, like every now and then, but I've been getting hired more where companies will like be like, make this for our page. And then so
Right.
they'll like send me the script and the product.
That's awesome. Well, I want to give you the floor back to talk about anything else that you would like to continue to be ruinous about if you have more.
Let's see. Okay, another facet of myself. So I have a disability. It is mostly invisible because it's chronic pain. I was born with both of my feet were clubbed like a lot. Like I had a rare case where my tendon from my ankle to my thighs both were turned like fully inward.
Ouch.
And usually it's just like from the shin down. And so like I was never supposed to be able to walk. I had like an amazing surgeon. And so I can walk. Woo! I just
Yay.
have half ankles, I guess is the best way to describe. My ankle doesn't go all the way through. And so the left one is okay. And the right one is hell. Also, I have fully flat feet. Like when I step out of the pool and step on the ground, it's just oval. There's
my
no
God.
arch.
No arch
Like
there.
at all. Sometimes I'm just in excruciating pain, like especially after conventions, you're walking
Oh, standing and
hours on
Yeah.
end. And every now and then I'll carry a cane. I went to DreamCon in Texas and I was dressed as Bakugo from My Hero Academia and I had my cane. And this one guy asked to take a picture of me and I was like, cool. I like did the pose or whatever. And the guy's like, cool, yeah, nice cosplay. You could lose the cane though. And I was just like what? And my friend was like, that's a mobility aid, sir. Like she can't lose the cane.
She can't
And so-
actually. Big
Yeah, I was like,
assumption
no,
there.
I
Big
need that.
assumption.
And so like how cosplay is perceived too, like when you have a disability, there's a lot that needs to be improved, not just from like the attendee side, but the people throwing the convention. A lot have gotten a lot better. Like you'll see now more cons will have like a table where you can check in, get like a sticker so the staff knows like, hey, if I'm sitting here, I need to, but just simple things. Like one of the Anime Las Vegas is, I was working for the cosplay competition. One of the judges is in a wheelchair. And so we said, to the team that like the company that brings on the stage, like we need a ramp. So day of the con comes, one of my cosplay judges comes up. She says, hey, the stage doesn't have a ramp. So like I radio into the team. I'm like, hey, so what happened with the ramp? And they're like, yeah, we talked to the stage company and they said they didn't bring the ramp because it costs more. And I was like, do they know that we would pay more for the ramp? And they're like, yes, they did. And it was just like a horrible debacle. Like,
And what do you think it's for? Like, why do you
right.
think it's disposable?
exactly. And it's like $75 more. We'll give you $75.
Okay.
Like, just little things like that I keep noticing. With the same convention, one of my friends, she runs the cosplay competition now, and she was like, okay, we need to have interpreters. Put something in the budget for the interpreters. And the
Yeah.
team was like, like, I'm not so sure about that. Like, do we really need interpreters? And she was like, yes!
Yeah,
we
because
need
I asked
interpreters.
and
People
told you
need
we do.
to see. Right. And then so they're like, okay, actually, you're right. And then she even did even better after they were like, okay, you're right, we'll budget for it. She found a company that's a nonprofit that does it for free. Learning now, being on the backside of events, how easy it can be to make things more accessible. And it's just that companies just don't want to put in the effort. Sometimes it's a really low cost. It's no cost. It's as simple as making a phone call, getting a permit. It's just crazy how easy it is and how simple it could all be to make an event accessible for everyone. I know it's because there's so much stigma like on both sides, especially like attendees and the weird interactions I've had, or even with like security staff. There's usually like by law in California, if you go through security, they're not allowed to check your mobility aid. I've had so many staff members say they're not going to let me in if they can't check to make sure I don't have a sword in my cane.
Oh my
Like,
God.
So yeah, that's a whole nother thing on cosplay is people being like, you're not accurate because you have a mobility aid, or can I even get my mobility aid into the convention center? Little things, not having chairs. I think that's a simple fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we standing?
And it's hard to maneuver. Like San Diego Comic-Con, I think people generally there, I've noticed, are pretty good about paying attention and being like, oh, okay, we're moving out of the way if someone in a wheelchair is coming or something like that. And there was cool, this last year that I was there, it was cool. They had a whole company that like helps make wheelchairs into cosplay accessories, basically,
yes,
which was
I love
super
that
awesome.
company.
Yeah. I can't remember. Do you know the name of them? I don't off the top of my
I
head.
think it's like Magic chairs or something.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
Anyway, shout
they're
out
really
to them.
cute.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, not a chair to be found. Like when I was running around as Barbie and my feet were all ripped up because I was like, these heels are comfy, it'll be fine, and I was wrong. Like,
And
I
I
was
was
like, can a Barbie get a chair anywhere at all? No, you got to walk hike all the way down to the Marriott to get that. And then you can sit down over there.
And then they yell at you if you sit on the floor.
They do.
Oh yeah,
So we've got ableism, racism, and sexism.
misogyny.
Great.
That's so
Unfortunately.
like sad because I mean that was like your first main point, and I was like, oh, and it was so the way you said it was so good. The world just snuck its way in because it got so big, and when things get big like that, you can't avoid the nasty snake people that slither their way in and bring all their fucking bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's gotten worse in that anytime something gets bigger, it's going to be a bigger problem. But like, were there a lot of women, in it at the start?
That's definitely something I'm curious about too. I tried to like see if I could find any like statistics on it, and I guess it's just no one was really recording info on it till recently,
yeah.
which it's just unfortunate because I would also like to know because like looking back at like OG cosplay pictures from like the 70s on to maybe the early 2000s, you would think it was a woman dominated hobby, and so I'm like, is that the case or is that just only who we have pictures of? That'd be really cool if it is, because since it was very sew heavy back then and mainly only women were learning to sew, so it's like I'm so curious. It's definitely women dominated now, and I feel like it is a little more rare to see men in cosplay, but I feel like it's shifting a little too because you are able to have access to buy them more. Like I see a lot of couples in it, especially too.
Oh yeah.
Like guys getting into it once their girlfriends got into it.
And that's an interesting point about it being, as you said, you used to have to be able to sew to do it. And of course, more women are socialized to sew. So like you're more likely to be able to do that. But then also now I'm thinking about like how much are little boys encouraged to play dress up? Right? Every girl I knew had a trunk of like dress up clothes. So it's another way we're socialized maybe a little differently.
I don't know. I feel like I've seen on my feed, at least, I've noticed like kind of an influx, especially of like men as well, who are like dancing around in their own scantily clad outfits, who are like, who cares about cosplay norms? Like,
right.
I want to be sexy Finn. Like,
sure.
Like do it. Right?
Yeah.
Like I love to see it. I love all the fun, creative takes on it, because it's supposed to be creative and fun.
Yeah. And again, it's like the stakes are so low for
So
you. Like just derive joy from seeing other people having joy. Why doesn't seeing other people happy make you happy?
You know what, Reggie Watts? I don't know if you guys
Oh yeah, I
listen
love
to
Reggie.
her, like one of my favorite human beings. But recently he was interviewed and he said something really interesting, that kindness is a form of intelligence, and that it takes a certain amount of just, human intelligence, innate intelligence, to be kind and show kindness. And that, like, he said it really diplomatically, but we're noticing a trend of not such super intelligent people, and they're feeling really galvanized by other not so intelligent people who are in office. So maybe we're just losing kindness as we lose certain intelligence. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it requires you to think about things from another person's perspective and to not give in to whatever that weird impulse is that we all have to be like, no, it's my thing. You're like,
yeah. And I'm not saying like smart, like
right. No, yes,
people who are
emotional
smart,
intelligence.
Emotional intelligence and like us. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Alia.
It was so cool to have you, dude. And you're my favorite SpongeBob cosplay, hands down, at this point. Like, it can't be topped.
It's so cute. It's so cute. Yes, credit to Larkin for finding Alia. She sent me your video about the history of chokers, which was really interesting, which we should talk about one of these days.
We should talk.
I'm down to come back.
Absolutely. We would have you back anytime. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, she'd be great. And I went to your Instagram and I was like, okay, she's got a lot of followers, but I'll just shoot my shot. I'll just throw it out there. I'll message her and she might never see it. And she messaged me back and I was so excited. And
I know, she texted me immediately. She was like, Alia texted me back. And I was,
We were amped. We were fangirling. But
Yep.
my favorite thing I think I saw on your Instagram, which is saying a lot because you do a lot of amazing things, but when you went to the Ren Fair and you had those bloomers that said "Art thou nasty" on the butt, I was like, I need her in my life. Like,
Those are my pride and joy. This is the best thing I've ever made.
amazing. Oh my God, you made them so good. I laughed so hard. I showed my husband immediately. I was like, she's coming on the podcast. I'm so happy about it. So it was very cool to hear from somebody who does this and has done this full time about, your own experiences and all of the shit you've seen and heard and had said to you, because yeah, I can only imagine how exhausting it can be existing on the internet as a Black cosplayer. Oh, and we didn't even, we touched on it a little bit, but like the sexism too, like that whole issue.
Kate was like, you should be Wednesday. And I was like, oh, I mean, also it's perfect. I mean, looking at us side by side, I'm like, this is actually it. She is Barbie and I'm Wednesday. But I would like my initial thing, I was like, oh, what I've really wanted to do is Jinx. I've wanted to be Jinx for so long. Like I would have so much fun with that. And my immediate thought was, you're too big. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I was like, Alia would smack me in the face if I
Yes, I
like
would.
I pictured you with me. I was like, she'd be like, you shut up and you put that wig on and you put those tight little pants on and that nothing shirt and you shimmy around like a freak. And that's what I wanted. I think if I can that's going to be my goal at some point in the next couple of years is to be Jinx. I'm going to do it.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. Very much admire your resilience and how like
should like stick to it. And I mean, I'm sure you have days where you're like, screw all this.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
like to keep finding joy in it and having fun in it, that
Yes.
inspires me because that's hard. I don't
Yes.
think I could do that.
And I'm sure you can hear in Alia's voice, but if you go follow her and see her, like she's just a light. She's like, she emanates joy, and that's what cosplay should be and what it should be about. And like, it's just very, very tragic. What happened to Squid Kid 1111 is just like the worst of the worst, like worst case scenario that someone could feel so bullied and kept out of a community that, as you said, was probably initially an escape for her. Unacceptable. We can't be doing that to each other. Everybody lighten the fuck up. That's what I want to say. Just everybody
Yes.
And grow up.
grow up and lighten up. Yeah.
Well, not in that way. Like, be a kid, dress up,
Right.
but grow up intelligently, please, for the love. We really need it, especially this year. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alia.
Thank you for having me.
It is.
Join us again next time when we will be. What are we doing? Oh, I'm ruining the Olympics because the next one will be out right in the middle of the Winter Olympics. And oh man, do I have some shit to tell you. Go follow Alia, Magical Black Girl Alia, on TikTok and Instagram. We will pop her handles in the show notes, so don't even worry about it. You can just scroll right down wherever you're listening and find her link and click right on it and then go follow her. Go out and just have some more joy and be nice to each other.
Love you, dummies.